There is something about tonight that feels different. Maybe you noticed it already. Maybe you felt unusually thoughtful, unusually emotional, or strangely peaceful for a few moments without knowing why. Maybe something reminded you of a person, a place, a conversation, or a future you have not even experienced yet. And maybe you found yourself wondering why certain memories keep returning, why your heart sometimes seems to recognize something before your mind can explain it. Take a deep breath. Let yourself be present for this message. This is not a promise that someone else's thoughts can literally be known from a distance. Think of this as a spiritual, symbolic message, a gentle reflection about love, timing, family, connection, and the possibility that the relationship you are meant to experience can be deeper than attraction alone. And if these words happen to speak to your heart, keep the parts that feel meaningful to you, because tonight, the message is about more than romance. It is about being welcomed. It is about being understood. It is about the kind of love that does not only ask, "Do you love my person?" It asks, "Will you care for their heart? Will you respect their dreams? Will you stand beside them when life becomes difficult? Will you allow them to remain themselves while building something beautiful together?" That is the kind of love worth waiting for, and that is why the title of this message says that your soulmate's family has a special message for you. Imagine, for a moment, that one day you meet someone whose presence feels unexpectedly familiar. You do not have to force the conversation. You do not have to pretend to be someone else. You can laugh naturally. You can be quiet without feeling awkward. You can disagree without feeling threatened. You can tell the truth without wondering whether honesty will make them disappear. Then, eventually, you meet the people who raised them. You walk into their home. You hear stories from their childhood. You discover the little things that shaped the person standing beside you. You learn what made them laugh when they were younger, what they were afraid of, what they dreamed about, what they struggled with, and what their family remembers most clearly about them. And suddenly, you understand something. You are not simply meeting a person, you are meeting a story, a history, a collection of memories, a family that helped shape the person you may one day love. And perhaps, in this imagined message, their family looks at you and says, "We do not need you to be perfect. We do not need you to have everything figured out. We do not need you to impress us. We only ask that you love our person with honesty." That is the first message. Love honestly, not dramatically, not possessively, not through games, not through jealousy, not through constant tests of loyalty. Real love has room for truth. Real love has room for boundaries. Real love has room for individuality. Real love does not demand that someone abandon themselves to prove devotion. And if the person you eventually build a life with truly is your soulmate in the way you understand that word, the relationship should not feel like a cage. It should feel like a place where two people can breathe. Your soulmate's family, in this symbolic message, might tell you, "Please do not try to become someone you are not just to earn our approval." Because the right people will eventually appreciate the real you. They may not understand everything about you immediately. They may have different personalities, traditions, expectations, or ways of expressing affection, but genuine connection grows through patience. You do not need to arrive as a flawless person, you only need to arrive as yourself, and perhaps that is why something happened last night. Maybe the something was not an external miracle, maybe it was an internal shift. Maybe you finally realize that you are ready to stop chasing relationships that leave you confused. Maybe you realize that attraction alone is not enough. Maybe you realize that being wanted is not the same as being valued. Maybe you realize that attention is not the same as commitment. Maybe you realize that chemistry can be exciting, but emotional safety is what allows love to last. And maybe, just maybe, you are beginning to understand what kind of love you actually want, not the loudest love, not the most dramatic love, not the relationship that makes everyone else jealous, the peaceful one, the honest one. The relationship where you can sit together after a long day and not feel the need to perform. The relationship where silence does not mean punishment. The relationship where disagreement does not automatically become abandonment. The relationship where both people can say, "I was wrong." The relationship where apologies are followed by changed behavior. The relationship where affection does not disappear simply because life becomes ordinary. That is the kind of relationship this message invites you to imagine. And now imagine your soulmate's family speaking directly to you. They might say, "We know our person has flaws. You will discover them. There will be habits that make you laugh. There will be moments when they frustrate you. There will be days when neither of you knows exactly what to say. There will be seasons when life becomes stressful. But if your love is real, you will not expect perfection, you will expect effort, you will expect honesty, you will expect growth, and you will offer the same in return. That is important, because soulmate love should not be about finding someone who never disappoints you. It should be about finding someone with whom disappointment can be handled maturely, someone who listens, someone who communicates, someone who respects your no. Someone who can celebrate your achievements without turning them into a competition. Someone who wants you to have your own friends, interests, dreams, and identity. Someone who does not need to control you to feel secure. Someone who can say, "I trust you," and mean it. And perhaps their family would tell you something else. Please do not be afraid of taking your time. There is no prize for rushing into love. There is no deadline by which you must meet your person. There is no universal calendar that determines when your soulmate must appear. Some people meet their deepest partners early. Some meet them later. Some relationships begin as friendships. Some begin unexpectedly. Some arrive after years of personal growth. And some people first need to learn what they do not want before they recognize what they truly do. So if you have been wondering why love has not happened exactly when you wanted it to, be gentle with yourself. A delay is not proof that you are forgotten. A period of being single is not proof that you are unlovable. A relationship ending is not proof that you failed. Sometimes an ending simply reveals that two people were not able to build the kind of future they needed, and that truth can hurt while still being healthy. Your soulmate's family, in this symbolic message, might say, "We hope you never settle simply because you are lonely." Read that again, Do not choose someone only because they choose you. Choose someone because the relationship is healthy, respectful, mutual, and compatible. Do not confuse being pursued with being cherished. Do not confuse intense attention with emotional maturity. Do not confuse jealousy with love. Do not confuse fear of losing someone with proof that they are your destiny. Love should make room for freedom. And when two people freely choose one another, day after day, that choice can become something incredibly beautiful. Now imagine the first time your soulmate's family realizes that you matter to their loved one. Maybe they notice it in the way their face changes when your name comes up. Maybe they notice that their family member talks differently about the future. Maybe they see a new sense of confidence. Maybe they hear stories about conversations you had. Maybe they notice that their loved one has become more patient, more hopeful, or simply more themselves. And someone in the family smiles. They might say, "So this is the person." Not because you are perfect, not because you have arrived to save anyone, but because your presence seems to bring something healthy into the relationship. That is the kind of sign worth noticing, not mysterious coincidences, not numbers on a clock. Not every song on the radio, not every dream. The strongest signs are often much simpler: respect, consistency, kindness, communication, shared values, mutual effort, a willingness to grow, a sense that you can be yourself. Those things may not sound as dramatic as a cosmic prediction, but they are far more meaningful, and maybe that is the real message hidden inside the idea of a soulmate. A soulmate is not necessarily someone the universe has programmed to find you. It can be understood as someone with whom you build an unusually meaningful connection, someone who meets you with intention, someone whose values complement yours, someone who inspires you to become more honest, not more anxious. Someone who can look at your imperfections and still respect you. Someone who does not need you to be smaller so they can feel bigger. Someone who does not ask you to prove your love by sacrificing your dignity. Someone who understands that love is not ownership. And perhaps your soulmate's family has one more message: please take care of your own heart too. This matters, because loving another person should not require abandoning yourself. You deserve to be loved without constantly wondering whether you are enough. You deserve conversations where your feelings are taken seriously. You deserve kindness. You deserve respect. You deserve the ability to say what you need without being mocked. You deserve a relationship where both people can grow. And if one day you meet someone whose family welcomes you, remember that your place in that family should be built naturally. You do not need to win everyone over overnight. You do not need to become the most impressive person in the room. You do not need to perform. Be courteous. Be genuine. Listen. Ask questions. Show interest in the people who matter to your partner. Remember their stories. Celebrate their traditions when appropriate, and allow trust to develop over time. Families are made of individuals. They will not all think alike. They may have different personalities. Some may be affectionate immediately. Others may take longer to open up. That is okay. Love does not require everyone to become identical. It requires respect. Now let's return to the mysterious phrase, "Something happened last night." Maybe something did. Maybe you had a dream. Maybe you woke up thinking about someone. Maybe you heard a song that brought back a memory. Maybe you had a conversation that changed your perspective. Maybe you simply felt a strange sense of hope. Whatever happened, you do not have to force a supernatural explanation onto it. Sometimes the heart processes things while we sleep. Sometimes our minds connect memories in unexpected ways. Sometimes a small moment becomes meaningful because we are entering a new stage of life. So instead of asking, "Was this definitely a sign?" ask, "What did this moment make me realize?" That question can lead somewhere powerful. Maybe you realized you want a deeper relationship. Maybe you realized you want emotional security. Maybe you realized you want a partner who communicates. Maybe you realized you are tired of mixed signals. Maybe you realize that the person you once wanted is not necessarily the person who would be good for you. Maybe you realize that your future deserves more attention than your past, and that realization can be a turning point. Your soulmate's family, symbolically, might say, "We hope you do not spend your whole life looking backward. Because there may be something ahead that deserves your attention. The future cannot be guaranteed. No message can promise a specific person, date, location, or event. But your choices can influence the kind of relationship you create. You can become more emotionally aware. You can learn communication skills. You can understand your boundaries. You can recognize unhealthy patterns. You can become comfortable with being alone. You can build a life you genuinely enjoy. And when love enters that life, it becomes an addition rather than a rescue mission. That is powerful. Imagine your soulmate telling their family about you. Maybe they say, "They make me feel safe enough to be myself." Or, "They actually listen." Or, "They remember the little things." Or, "We can disagree and still respect each other." Or, "They encourage me to pursue my dreams." Or, "I don't feel like I have to pretend around them." Those are beautiful statements, and notice what is missing. There is no mention of perfection, no mention of constant excitement, no mention of endless gifts, no mention of dramatic declarations every day. The beauty is in the ordinary, the everyday, the small things, a message asking whether you arrived safely, a shared laugh about something nobody else would understand, remembering how the other person takes their coffee, saving a story because you know they will appreciate it, sitting quietly together, encouraging each other before an important day, apologizing when necessary, celebrating small victories, making room for difficult conversations. Those moments become the architecture of lasting love, and perhaps that is what your soulmate's family wants you to understand. Do not judge love only by how it begins. Pay attention to how it behaves over time. Anyone can make an exciting first impression. The deeper question is what happens afterward. Does respect remain? Does communication improve? Do promises become actions? Does affection survive ordinary days? Can both people maintain their individuality? Can they handle conflict without cruelty? Can they celebrate each other's growth? Can they make decisions together? Can they laugh? Can they forgive? Can they say no? Can they say yes? Can they be honest? That is where real compatibility becomes visible. So if you are waiting for love, do not wait passively. Build your life. Learn, explore, create, laugh. Spend time with people who care about you. Discover your interests. Develop your confidence. Become someone you are proud to be, not to make a soulmate notice you, but because your life belongs to you, and when the right person comes along, you will not need to disappear into the relationship. You will bring your whole self, and they will bring theirs. Two complete human beings, two histories, two families, two sets of dreams, two imperfect people choosing to create something together. That is far more beautiful than the idea of two incomplete people searching for someone to fix them. Now imagine standing in front of your soulmate's family. Maybe there is nervousness. Maybe your hands feel slightly awkward. Maybe you are wondering whether they like you. Someone smiles. Someone asks you a simple question. The conversation begins. Slowly, the tension disappears. You discover that they are not evaluating you as harshly as you imagined. They are simply getting to know the person their loved one cares about, and perhaps one person says, "We are happy that you are here." Those words might mean more than you expect, because being welcomed by the people who matter to someone can feel deeply significant. But remember something important: your worth should never depend on receiving approval from another family. You can be worthy even if someone does not understand you. You can be worthy even if a relationship ends. You can be worthy even if someone else's family does not immediately accept you. Your value is not determined by another person's opinion. Healthy love makes space for differences, and sometimes, relationships require couples to create respectful boundaries with extended family. That is part of growing up. The goal is not to make everyone happy all the time. The goal is to build a relationship based on mutual respect. So perhaps the most meaningful family message is not simply, "We approve of you." Maybe it is, "We hope the two of you treat each other well." That is the message worth carrying. Now, if this reading found you at an emotional moment, pause here, put your phone down for a few seconds, take a slow breath. Think about the kind of relationship you genuinely want, not the fantasy, not the movie version, not the social media version, the real version. What would make you feel respected? What qualities would matter when life becomes difficult? What values would you want to share? How would you want disagreements to be handled? What boundaries would you need? What dreams would you want your partner to support? What kind of person would you want to become inside a relationship? These questions matter more than predicting exactly when someone will appear, because when you know what healthy love looks like, you become better equipped to recognize it. You also become better equipped to walk away from relationships that do not meet those standards, and that can be one of the greatest forms of self-respect. Your soulmate's family, in this symbolic message, might say, "Please do not be afraid to walk away from what hurts you." They would not want you to remain somewhere simply because you have invested time. They would not want you to confuse suffering with devotion. They would not want you to believe that love must always be difficult to be meaningful. Some relationships are lessons, some are chapters, some are friendships, some become lifelong partnerships. You do not have to force every connection into the category of forever. Sometimes letting a chapter close is how you make room for a healthier one, and if there is someone in your past whom you still think about, be gentle with yourself. Missing someone does not automatically mean you should return to them. Remembering someone does not mean they are your destiny. A memory can be meaningful without being a direction. Sometimes the heart remembers what the mind has already learned, and sometimes healing is simply allowing both truths to exist. I loved what we had. And, I know I need something different now. Both can be true. Now imagine your future soulmate receiving a similar message about you. Perhaps someone tells them, treat this person gently. Listen to them. Do not take their kindness for granted. Support their dreams. Do not make them prove their love. Communicate when something is wrong. Remember that they have a life outside this relationship. Protect the trust you build. Choose honesty even when honesty is uncomfortable. And perhaps your soulmate would answer, I will. Not because they are perfect, but because they are willing to learn. That willingness is one of the most attractive qualities a person can have. People change, circumstances change, responsibilities change, dreams evolve. A strong relationship does not require two people to remain exactly as they were on the day they met. It requires them to keep meeting one another as they grow. Maybe one day your soulmate has a difficult week. Maybe you do. Maybe one of you feels uncertain. Maybe plans change. Maybe a misunderstanding happens. The question becomes, can we talk? Can we listen? Can we repair? Can we forgive? Can we grow? That is love in practice, not just words. Not just butterflies, not just destiny. Practice, day after day, choice after choice. And perhaps the reason this message feels so personal is because everyone carries a longing to be truly known, not merely noticed, known, to have someone understand the parts of you that you do not show everyone, to have someone remember